In the last video I mentioned that it's possible to choose the wrong groups. Let's see a situation where that has happened. Let's suppose we're trying to factor the polynomial u squared x plus 4v minus 4u squared minus vx. And looking at this and thinking about what these things have in common, let's suppose I decided to make my groups based on positive terms and negative terms, 4 or no 4, right? These do split the terms into pairs. So the positive term with a 4 is 4v. The positive term with no 4 is u squared x. The negative term with a 4 is negative u squared. The negative term with no 4 is negative vx. I forgot to write the 4 here, didn't I? All right. But now, looking at my rows, I don't see any common factors, right? Well, I see a 1, maybe a negative 1 here. But this doesn't work, right? 1 times what is 4v? It would have to be 4v. 4v times negative 1 is not negative 4u squared. If we don't get the same remaining factor in some column, we've got the wrong groups. What should we do? Try something different and start over. We should cross this off but not erase it so that we remember what we tried. So I'm going to just try something different. Maybe I want to group by x versus no x. So x versus no x, v versus no v maybe. So then my terms will be, the term with an x and a v is negative vx. The term with an x and no v is u squared x. The term with a v and no x is 4v. And the term with no x and no v is negative 4u squared. Oh, and notice that the negative terms did not end up in the same column. They did not end up in the same row. But let's look and see what we get here. In this row, my only common factor is an x. In this row, my common factor is a 4. What's left is negative v. Negative v times 4 isn't 4v, it's negative 4v. But I know what to do. I changed the sign here. Let's see if that works. X times what is u squared x? Well, it's positive u squared. Is u squared times negative 4 negative 4u squared? Yes. All right, this one works. What are my factors? They are x minus 4 times negative v plus u squared. Sometimes I don't like to write a negative plus a positive. I might choose to write this as x minus 4 times u squared minus v. Right, those mean the same. Minus v means plus negative v. So this is the commutative property not of subtraction, but of addition. All right, I'm going to give you one where it's tricky to spot the right groups. So you may have to try a couple of times before you get it right. Write this polynomial with 4 terms as a product of 2 binomials. Pause the video and try this now. All right, it might have taken you a couple of tries to find the right groups. It turns out that in this case, choosing, for example, coefficient 7 and not for my groups and then maybe positive and negative. So 7x, negative 7x squared, x cubed, negative 49. That doesn't work, does it? Because this row has no common factor. That might have been your first impulse to choose. I don't know. Maybe your first guess was the right one. The way I'm seeing the categories that end up working out for me, and again, maybe you described these differently, I have odd power of x and an even power of x. And then I have high and low for my columns. All right, so what do I mean by that? X cubed and x squared have a large power of x. 7x and negative 49 have a small power of x. So the high odd power of x is x cubed. The low odd power of x is x. The high even power of x is negative 7x squared. The low even power of x is x to the 0, so negative 49. All right, let's see if that worked for us, shall we? Let's see, here I see a common factor just of x. And here I think my common factor is 7, almost certainly negative. Because x times what is x cubed? X squared. And yes, x squared times negative 7 is negative 7x squared. X times what is 7x? X times 7 is 7x. 7 times negative 7 is negative 49? Yes. So what are my factors? I have x squared plus 7 times x minus 7.